What up, everybody? This is Mark Heylmun from Suicide Silence, and this is another installment of Jackson's Behind The Riff. I'm going to be showing you this riff from a song called You Only Live Once, which was released in 2011 off the album The Black Crown. I'm going to be playing, or I was just playing, this Jackson custom shop, my first Jackson custom shop from Joe Williams. I think it's a perfect blend to me of classic Rhodes aesthetic with some modern twists. It's freaking luxurious. I call it luxe. Love this thing. It's freaking amazing. It's in drop A on a 7-string, which is just standard with a low A, drop tune B to A, so you've got that chunk. Freaking sounds amazing. Love this guitar. But on to the riff. That's why you're here. Jackson asked me to do this Behind the Riff, and I was like, what do I want to do? They said, pick your favorite solo or your favorite riff. And I could have picked something that's super more flashy, more technical, but I chose this riff from You Only Live Once. Not just because it's probably our most successful song, but because there's a lot behind the riff. So let's get into it. So the riff, it showed up on an album in 2011, but this riff came into existence, I want to say, in 2004 or 2005-ish. And it really coincides with the release of a very important album, I think, for extreme music and guitar in general. A very important band, I think, for guitar in general, still to this day, which is Lamb of God. They released Ashes of the Wake in 2004. I was in high school, and I was a sponge for riffs and cool techniques and just fun stuff that was happening in the guitar world. And at that time, Lamb of God was at the top for guitar, extreme metal guitar. And on that album, Ashes of the Wake, it's riff city. There are so many riffs that I learned that became a part of my DNA when coming up with riffs. But I've never shared this story with anyone except for maybe our immediate circle and one person, and that person is Mark Morton. And basically, I was learning some of those riffs, and I learned Now You Got Something to Die For. You know, this riff, it's in drop D, but there it is in A. I learned that riff, love that riff, and it just kind of became a part like this. Which is like this, I always feel like it's kind of like you're falling down a ladder and like hitting your head on every step on the way down. Like, you can do whatever, modulation you want, but it's percussive, it's super cool, and it just became something that I would play all the time. And it's the same turnaround as You Only Live Once. So, really, I kind of sat with that riff for years and years. Never really thought that it was a Suicide Silence style riff, just because it's kind of got this like this late bendy, this kind of funky swagger going on in there. And before The Black Crown, Suicide Silence's aesthetic, our aesthetic, was much more, just these just whomper, caveman, just stupid, heavy riffs. And I just felt like that riff wasn't exactly Suicide Silence, but I presented it to the band, and everybody liked it, and we ended up writing You Only Live Once. And that was this old riff that I'd had since high school, and really I had felt like I had ripped off Lamb of God. And I got the chance to tell Mark Morton this, who is also a Jackson artist, which if you're watching this, I'm sure you know. And Mark is so awesome, and I showed him the riff, like, dude, bro, like, I ripped off one of your riffs. And he's like, oh, all right, show me. So I show him, explain it to him, and he's just like, I don't hear it. But he's like, I'm going to say the same thing that Dimebag said to me when I told him that I ripped off riffs. Mark to Dime, and Dime told Mark that we don't rip off riffs, we borrow them. And I love that. I thought it was super cool. It's a memory I will never forget, and I feel like it's probably happened many times amongst people in Metallica and people in Cannibal Corpse, and we're borrowing riffs from all the greats, from Iommi. We're borrowing from all the best, and we will continue to, and it's how you gather your inspiration, and how no one's ever came to me and said, yo dude, you ripped off, now you got something to die for. No one has ever said it. So I found music that I loved, and I was so passionate about Lamb of God. I loved them so much when I was younger. Still do, still great band. But I was learning so much from it and incorporating it into my riff curation so that I could be a better riff merchant and and serve up the sick riffs. And that's kind of back to, I could have chose a more complex, more flashy Behind the Riff, but I feel like what I've always liked to do when I'm writing riffs is come up with something that inspires, or if you're just a regular music listener, you don't play guitar, you don't play music or anything, something that just is catchy and fun. Fun is important, and if you hear it, it's like ear candy and just super cool. But if you do play guitar, it's kind of like the ultimate. It's more difficult to come up with something that is so simple and so effective that doesn't matter if you've been playing guitar for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades. If I'm writing a riff, I want a guitar player to pick up the guitar and be able to somewhat emulate, some of these riffs that I write, because that's what is awesome. Inspire people to want to pick up the guitar and play those riffs. As much as you want to pick up the guitar and play something wildly technical, that's also, super cool. But there's something cool about knowing that you're writing a riff that pretty much anybody can play and is going to have fun playing. And I know when I first started playing guitar, it was all about, learning what was I going to learn first. I was learning, Iron Man and Paranoid and, gradually working my way up to like Crazy Train or something. And I'd like to, kind of create those steps where it's easy and fun to learn. Pick up the guitar, play it. Even if you play it wrong, you're just putting the power and you're having fun and you have that intention. That's freaking awesome, and I love that. And and I feel like You Only Live Once was kind of a step in a new Caveman, just awesome, powerful riff. And I still really can't believe how big that song became. If you want to check out that music video, it's got over 100 million views. Look it up on YouTube, You Only Live Once, Suicide Silence. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Jackson, who make the best guitars in the world. It is a dream come true to be on this roster, a part of this family. Super, super stoked. And if you want to catch us on tour, look us up, find out where we're going to be. We'll be on tour till death. So thank you very much. Peace. Thank you.